Hi, I'm Raleigh Taylor. Come join me for a day in the life of an EMS captain with Eugene Springfield Fire. I'm one of 3 EMS captains for Eugene Springfield Fire. We're stationed out here at Station 11 in North Eugene. My day starts with looking at the roster, making sure we have the right people and on the right places. I have a morning meeting with the 3 battalion chiefs to go through that day's events, anything on the schedule, any events coming up during the day. I look for any sort of trainings we have going on, so I'll interface with crews to do multiple trainings throughout the day. And at some point, I set aside time to be out on the streets, trying to run calls with crews, trying to just make sure I keep a pulse on the department and kind of see what we are doing as an organization, the things we do well, places we can improve. And yeah, that's kind of how the day starts. All right, Manny. Oh, God.
Okay, hold on.
2 phones. I've been a firefighter here for the last 7 years. After going through the BLS Academy, I went through a fire academy and worked as a paramedic firefighter up until I was able to get the position of EMS 1, or EMS Captain. Before, when I was a firefighter and paramedic on an ambulance or on an engine, I was really only able to work in one portion of the community, depending on what station I was stationed at that day. Whereas with EMS 1, I'm able to move around throughout the communities as I see fit, wherever the need is. So I'm really able to interact with not only different stations and see all the personnel here, but also be able to interact with different parts of the community on a daily basis. So that's something I really enjoy. Dude, it's like you're like my therapist. You're like, remember when you were talking about this? You're feeling like this. I'm like, oh yeah, I was. Hey, what's going on, boss? Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. What's your name? Yeah, let's just get the whole jacket off. I appreciate it. When's the last time you were in the hospital, period? This job has a mix of administrative roles, but I every day try to set aside at least bare minimum a couple hours to go out, run calls, interact with crews, constantly trying to evolve and deliver the best possible service to the communities. And it's impossible to know what that is and to know where our training points are if I myself am not out in the community running calls with our crews. I get a chance to see the Paramedic of the Year. By the way, he is here. This is Paramedic of the Year, Andrew Higgison. It's good to see you. Congratulations again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Enters the room.
And
I remove my cap.
At ease. Right now we're heading to the hospital. Everybody in this time, especially in healthcare, is understaffed and very busy. So there's going to be times where our ambulances are going to the hospital and they have a challenging time offloading that patient to the hospital. And so my job is to help facilitate a smooth transfer when one is not readily available to the medics when they arrive. We made a decision as a department a few years ago to change the deployment model for how we respond to emergencies. And historically, an ambulance and a fire truck have all gone to every single medical call that comes in. But in this time, our resources are spread thin. Not every patient requires a fire truck and an ambulance to show up on every call. And not every medical patient needs to go to the hospital by ambulance. So instead, we have started to transition towards a single role system where we might have ambulances with just paramedics respond by themselves, or an engine might show up just to check a patient. And the goal is really to connect each patient to the resource that is most appropriate for them for the reason that they called.
He's moving stuff, his jaw's not clenched, he's swallowing and moving his hair. Okay, can you squeeze my fingers, please? Squeeze my fingers. Open your mouth again. What's your name?
So one of the reasons we send fire trucks on calls with ambulances for medical runs is that we have only a limited number of ambulances. And most of the time those ambulances are either at the hospital or on other calls. So the time it takes for that ambulance to get to the scene can be sometimes slightly extended. Whereas we have more fire engines that are strategically placed throughout the city, and those engines can respond quickly, get on scene initially, and either start providing that life-saving care that's necessary, or if it's a less critical call, they might be able to do an initial triage of that patient and decide if an ambulance is even necessary, which would then keep that ambulance available for a more critical call somewhere else between the cities.
Wendy, we've got a device that's going to help lift you up.
I don't need the hospital. Once I'm up, I can walk.
Okay.
But we've got a device that's going to slide underneath you and help you up. It's kind of like an airbag.
How come you don't bring that when I fall?
Well, we have one of them and we're trying them out.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta get your feet underneath you too.
Feet are underneath. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
That's all I need.
Isn't
that crazy? I
Can we bandage that arm up for you?
Oh, I'll get it.
Are you sure? We've
Yeah,
got
I
a
was
whole
surprised.
kit of stuff.
See you guys. Like Chris said.
Some of the overcrowding that we see in the ER is because of a lack of primary care or a lack of specialty care, especially in behavioral health. And we understand that it's hard to find primary care. And again, this position and some of this reorganization that the department is doing is really aimed at how do we pair patients with the most appropriate type of care. And until now, everybody has just gone to the hospital, and we're really trying to work with behavioral health specialists, urgent cares, primary care physicians to reroute patients to the place that's going to solve their problem rather than just inundating the emergency room with every type of patient.
Everybody knows what they're doing? Yeah, you want me to stay on speed fine until we get a caller? Sure. Driving in? Driving in? Okay. All right, I'll meet you.
We're back at the station. It's almost midnight. We're gonna try to get a couple hours of sleep and shut it down and do it all again tomorrow. So thanks again for riding with EMS 1. Hope you learned something. Good night.